me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta fill the engine. In my thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. If you would like to join the membership, there's a Discord on there. We can chat on the Discord, and there's some special perks. If you wanted to join the membership, you're not required or anything like that. I love you guys all just the way we are right now. But if you want to, join the membership. But we're going to go over the preview of us facing the New York Giants. And there's going to be a couple things that we'll talk about here. First off, we're going to start off with the injury report. And we have some good news coming from the injury report. So it's going to basically be Teron Armstead is, not participating. Don't foresee him coming back, for a couple of weeks. He might even be placed on IR. Lester Cotton, though, was limited practice. Robert Jones was limited practice. Nick Needham was limited practice. Jalen Phillips, limited practice. Connor Williams, limited practice, and Braxton Berrios and Deshaun Elliott full practices, which the Deshaun Elliott thing, I'll tell you what right now, we'll talk about in a second, but I think that's going to be something good. And the Giants have a couple of injuries. So Shane Lemieux, their guard, did not participate. John Michael Schmitz, which is somebody that I kind of wanted in the draft this year, but whatever. It's looking like we might have, maybe that would have been a good idea, but he did not practice. Andrew Thomas did not practice. Saquon Barkley is limited. Daniel Bellinger is limited. Gary Brightwell, Marcus McKithen, Azeez Ojulari, Evan Neal, Wandale Robinson, and Micah McFadden, all limited practice. So, just to start off with our own guys, Deshaun Elliott having a full practice is going to be monumental. I do think that not only was the absence of Jalen Phillips felt, but also Deshaun Elliott has been playing very well the past 3 weeks. And I think not having him in and Brandon Jones being in there, we all know that Brandon Jones, he is not a cover safety. He is a blitzing safety. So I think that really hurt. I believe that Deshaun Elliott definitely has way better coverage skills. And it seemed to be, after the lack of practicing, Brandon Jones' tackling was not great either. So having Deshaun Elliott back is probably going to really help this defense. Jalen Phillips and Connor Williams are going to be questionable. I don't know if Connor Williams is going to come back this week. It might be another week. And I don't know if Jalen Phillips will be, but if Jalen Phillips is ready to play, I think you got to have Jalen Phillips, and you got to have a lot of packages for Andrew Van Ginkel. Even if Jalen Phillips is ready to play, I think Andrew Van Ginkel has to be in there because first 3 weeks, Jalen Phillips hasn't really gotten to the quarterback either. And I think you got to keep them in. But we'll see. So having Deshaun Elliott back, big help. And then we'll go into the season stats for both the teams. And it's going to be that the New York Giants are averaging 14 points per game, 253 yards per game, and then their opposition is scoring around 32 points per game and 361 yards per game. They have 5 turnovers, 21 penalties, and 184 penalty yards, which, isn't great. Dolphins, on the other hand, are averaging around 43 points per game, 550 yards per game. The opposition, which it's misleading just because of the Denver Broncos and the Patriots, but 23 points per game. And the opposition is 361 yards per game, which is not great. It's basically the same as the Giants. 3 turnovers, 18 penalties, and 139 yards. So, what we're going to talk about is basically all the keys that we would need. From the last game, I believe that Tua is going to bounce back. We understand now that we have to do a lot for Liam Eichenberg. He is not good. And I think that's going to be the first thing that we talk about here is that Liam Eichenberg, we need to send a lot of help after. That's going to be one of the keys to this game, is that our team is better all around. It's just the offensive line is struggling without their starters. You know, Teron Armstead not being out there. Kendall Lamb will be fine, but not having Connor Williams is stinking up the joint right now. Liam Eichenberg he just sucks. He's just not good. So what we're going to have to do, number one, is going to be help Liam Eichenberg. He is not good, and he cannot guard anybody one-on-one. I mean, I don't think there's a single person that he would be able to be blocking successfully in the entire league. I think every single defensive tackle, I think every single defensive end would have their way with Liam Eichenberg. I think when people look at the Dolphins and they would see that Liam Eichenberg's in the starting lineup, they're telling their coach, put me right in front of him. I want to pile up stats. And that's what he lets them do. You know, Liam Eichenberg is just no good. So you have to send help for him. You got to have, you know, if you're seeing that you got 4 rushers and in the middle you just got 2 gaps, you got to have Robert Hunt chip or help or something. You got to have the running back there. He's got to chip. He's got to get in front of that defensive lineman, chip him out. You got to have a lot of chips towards every player that Liam Eichenberg is blocking, because he cannot handle them one-on-one. And it's not that it's not like he can block them for a second. He will literally not be able to put hands on them. Like it's almost as if you were running a 40-yard dash at Tua. That's basically what Liam Eichenberg is blocking. I mean, these guys basically get to Liam and pat him, and then they're around him. He just can't block anybody. So we need to help Liam out if Connor Williams cannot play. If Connor Williams can play, it's going to be a different offense. I believe we're going to be fine if Connor Williams can start. But if he can't, you have to do whatever it takes to allow Liam to give you at least 2 seconds to throw the ball. You got to allow him to have at least 2 seconds to throw the ball. Just chip, block, whatever it is. Put Tyreek Hill in motion and let him elbow the defensive lineman before he goes out. Whatever you need him to do to allow Liam to just get in the way. I mean, at this point, I think Liam should just stick his leg out and his arm out, and I believe that would help him blocking them for at least a millisecond more than he normally can. So you got to help him. You got to help Liam Eichenberg. There's no way around it. We're not going to sit here and try and run. I mean, I think if Mike McDaniel's trying to run the same offense that he's running with Connor Williams with Liam Eichenberg, it's just going to be a fool's paradise. You got to make sure that Liam gets help, because he cannot block. And at this point, it's 3 years in, and he's never got, if anything, he's just gotten worse and worse. So that's going to be the key, number one. You got to help Liam. You got to make sure that he has somebody helping him block. This is just going to be like helping a disabled person. You have to have someone helping this guy out, because he cannot do it. So again, Robert Hunt, Isaiah Wynn, you got to make sure that if you got no one to block, Isaiah Wynn, look to your right, and Robert Hunt, look to your left. If there's nobody that you need to block, there is. It's in front of Liam. So make sure you help Liam out. The next thing is going to be, this defense needs to learn how to tackle again. Because the thing is just like us, I think the Giants are kind of a lesser us, where they have playmakers kind of similar to our offense, where, you know, I don't know if Wandali's going to play, but Jalen Hyatt, you know, you have a bunch of players that can make you miss and run down the field. And the thing is this is one of those trap games. We just lost to Buffalo. Of course, we're pissed off, we're mad, but the Giants are one of those weird teams that can just heat up out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So it is definitely going to be something to watch, that we need to learn our tackling basics again, and we just need to tackle these guys. I believe 100% that if we just work and have solid tackling all week, I don't think the Giants can really move the ball against us. It's just going to be one of those things that if they break tackles and they can get big yardage because we're tackling like we tackled last week, you know, that's going to be a rough time. But again, we learn our tackling basics. This goes back to the Deshaun Elliott thing. I think Deshaun Elliott coming back is going to be a huge help. I think he's going to significantly bolster that secondary. Cater, hopefully his mind is, forgotten what happened last week and he can move forward. And hopefully Vic Fangio, I don't know, puts Xavier Howard on the best receiver instead of putting Cater Kovu all the time. I don't know. That might make sense, having your best corner play the best receiver. It's just something that I think is pretty simple, but I'm not a football professional. So let's make sure that we wrap up. That goes for every single person. Javon Holland, that goes for Christian Wilkins, that goes for Bradley Chubb, that goes for Cater Kovu, Xavier Howard, every single person on this defense. Let's just get back to the basics and just wrap up. I don't want to see too many dumb broken tackles like we saw last week. I think, again, with Brandon Jones being out of the lineup, Deshaun Elliott back in, I believe that the tackling is going to be better. We're not going to see any more of those double team Stephon Diggs just spinning out of two players tackling him type of thing. Stephon Diggs is not even really a big player. So to have two people on him and they couldn't bring him down is just, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. So let's get back to the basics. Let's wrap up. The third thing, we have to get a pass rush. Now, does that have to do with Andrew Van Ginkel being in? Maybe. Does it have to do with maybe Bradley Chubb? I don't know. Trying to be somewhat of a player that is worth the money that we're paying to him. I mean, for sakes of it, for the life of me, I don't think I've ever seen something like this where the guy, his whole entire career was spectacular. I mean, I don't know, maybe not spectacular, but he was one of the brand names of pass rushing in the league, and we traded for him. And this guy is he's like a Deion Jordan. Like, he just doesn't do anything all game long, and it's just, I don't understand how that happens, especially when you get the coach that you became good under. It doesn't make any sense. It's just mind-boggling to see a guy that was so superior. I mean, and getting the coach that he had where he was superior, and he just stinks. Like this Bradley Chubb guy, I mean, I guess you can really chalk it up to just, you got your paycheck and you're like, I'm just going to chill on this. Because he's just doing nothing. Jalen Phillips, he's also kind of not doing much, but Jalen Phillips is a young guy. He's still learning his tricks and traits, and he needs to learn from Andrew Van Ginkel about some of the secondary pass rush techniques, because he has one, and it's just run as fast as he can at the quarterback, and most of the time he just gets pushed to the outside. He needs to have that inside move that Andrew Van Ginkel had. Andrew Van Ginkel, we need to have him in. There is no pass rush unless he's on the field. Christian Wilkins is not a pass rusher, and it's clear as day that he needs to seriously consider a pay cut when it comes to the contract that he was trying to get, because he's doing absolutely nothing. And this is, I think I said in one of my last videos that it is something that the players are trying their hardest. But I mean, Christian Wilkins, you wanted this massive paycheck. This is just pure, I don't even know what it is. He's just not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? I think I see more Zach Sealer, which we paid him. So, at least we have Zach Sealer. I think Christian Wilkins is just completely hurting his stock right now. But we need to do anything we can to manufacture pass rush, because Daniel Jones isn't good when you rush him. He's not good when you get pressure on him. He usually throws interceptions when you get pressure on him. And this would be one of those games that if you step your defense up, you get your confidence back again, and then you can work with it throughout the weeks. So we need to manufacture some sort of pass rush so that we can start seeing that our front line actually hits quarterbacks, And like I said in my last video and in this one, I'm going to say it again. I don't care who we have, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, whatever, big names. Andrew Van Ginkel needs to be on the field, because he's the only one that is getting to the quarterback. And it's been for not just multiple games, but multiple years. He seems to be the only one that is naturally pass rushing the quarterback. Again, Jalen Phillips, high expectations, but you have one move. Run as fast as you can at the quarterback. That's all you do. And most of the time, this new age, because we're not blitzing anymore, it's not working. You're just getting pushed to the outside, and you just don't have enough time to get to the quarterback because you have no inside moves. So keep Andrew McGingle on the field. Get some sort of pass rush. Start teaching these. I mean, I thought this defensive coach was supposed to be like a guru of teaching pass rush and teaching this and that and that and this. I mean, everything is just bad, you know? So it's like, yeah, everything is just not, it's just underwhelming. And it's frustrating because, again, another guy, I don't understand how it's like a typical Dolphins thing. Every single team this guy's been on has been good to great. And then, of course, he comes to the Dolphins, and it's just poo-poo. Let's get some pass rush. And the fourth thing is going to be, let's practice some coaching in this game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we just need to practice some coaching because there's multiple things on offense and defense that needed to be fixed last week for us to have a chance. First off, the defense, it needs to be a defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, this coach needs to make a defense to be a defense. You know, this defense does nothing most of the time. Like, it's just, you have to hope for Javon Holland to get a forced fumble, or else every team seems to be driving against us. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's miraculous because I was complaining about Josh Boyer last year, but the defensive coaching this year is just horrible. You know, I mean, we have a thing coming out yesterday and basically talking about Vic Fangio explaining his Xavier Howard thing, and it's typically what you would think he would say, something dumb like he trusted Cater Coe. You did after he got burnt twice for a lot of yardage and a couple touchdowns. You trusted him. I think at one point it's not even about trusting him. You have to understand basics of defense and say, hey, this no work. Maybe do this, maybe work. It's like caveman defense, you know. This no work, do different to work. It's like, I don't understand how you don't understand this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, it's an undrafted rookie, free agent, second year in the league, and you somehow geniusly think that he's going to be able to cover Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs has single-handedly destroyed mentally at least 3 of our corners. So I don't understand why we keep doing that and why we don't just put Xavier Howard on Stephon Diggs. I don't get it. And the next thing for the offense, Mike McDaniel, hey, if there's a 1-point conversion and it's mid-game and you're down by 11, maybe just go for the field goal instead of going for a 2-point conversion for no apparent reason. And also, maybe tell your guards and everything. And the trust is, okay, I get it, you want to trust your players, but they have to give you a reason to trust them first. You know what I'm saying? So maybe putting Liam Eichenberg one-on-one over and over again, not the smartest idea. And I think we've seen it for multiple years. You've been here for multiple years to see that he's no good. So better coaching all around. In conclusion, I think this is a winnable game. I think we will bounce back. But we need better just for the rest of the season to be able to be better. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. As always, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day. Fins up, baby. Peace.